Well, I'm a big reader, a voracious reader. So when I got this opportunity to have Daniel Silva on our show, I said, let's do it. So, hey, welcome to First Coast Living, Daniel.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be with you.
Now, you're called one of the greatest American spy novelists ever, and you've got a new book out, okay, Portrait of an Unknown Woman. And how is this book going to carry the torch forward, so to speak?
It's going to carry it with a little bit of a slight change to the character. My series features my long-running hero, Gabriel Allon. He is a Israeli intelligence officer who also had a very interesting cover job. He's one of the world's finest art restorers. And at the beginning of this novel, Gabriel retires from Israeli intelligence and settles quietly in Venice to resume his career, mending, great masterpieces. In short order, however, he is drawn into a search for the greatest art forger who ever lived. And the twist of the novel is that in order to find the greatest art forger who ever lived, Gabriel must become the greatest art forger who ever lived. It is a fast-paced, at times hilarious journey through the dark side of the art world. It's sort of a cross between the Thomas Crown Affair and the Showtime show Billions. And it deals with a subject that a lot of art dealers and museum curators don't like to talk about, and that is exactly how many of the beautiful paintings that we see hanging in art galleries and on the walls of museums are actually forgeries and fakes.
Do you do a lot of research that goes into this?
This is the 22nd Gabriel book. So I've along the way, I've sort of picked up an amateur master's degree in art history. I've become a pretty good fictitious art restorer. And in this novel, I had to become a fictitious art forger. So I studied the craft of art forgery, read as much as I could about art forgers, how they go about their work, why one becomes an art forger, how the criminal networks function. And I've always been fascinated by art forgery, and this book allowed me to sort of go into that world a little bit. And unlike previous Gabriel Allon books that might dip in and out of the art world, this one actually stays in the art world. So it's a little bit of a departure for me, and a little bit of a reboot for the series.
Right. And let's talk more about you. This is really a big milestone, so to speak. It's your 25th novel. My goodness. So did you ever think you would write so many wonderful books?
I did not. No, who could imagine such a thing? I mean, I thought I would be lucky if I could. 4 books sounded about right to me. If I could write 4 novels and then continue on working as a journalist. It didn't turn out that way. I've been very, very fortunate. I never dared to imagine that I would write 25 books. I never dared to imagine that I would be a #1 New York Times bestselling author. I wish I could say that I have 25 more books in me. I don't think I'm going to live that long, unfortunately, but I am going to continue to write well into the future, I hope.
What really inspired you think, as an author, for those aspiring authors to be? Do you think all of us have a book in us and we all need to write?
No, I don't actually. For me, I was a passionate reader as a child. I read well, and then I like to say I read poorly. My mother was a voracious reader of commercial fiction. When I was a little kid, I would read all of her books. And my books are sort of a blend of literary fiction and commercial fiction. I always wanted to be a writer. I never dared to imagine that I would actually succeed at it. Everyone certainly has a story to tell. I always say to people, unless you have this insatiable need to write, and I mean that need. Mm-hmm. If you can't not write, I would recommend another line of work. I write every single day of the week. I find a day off to be very disruptive to my work, it says something that I must do, and that's what you need to be a successful writer.
Love what you do what you love, and you love to write for sure. So again, Portrait of an Unknown Woman, Daniel Silva's new book. We really appreciate you sharing this with us, and looking forward to some more good summer reading.
Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed it.
Okay, thank you so much. And of course, for much more on this, head to our website, and that is firstcoastliving.net.